And Isaiah, since you touched on the coordinator situation, there has to be so much more confidence in a Chip Lindsey run offense for Bryce Underwood, and that he's stepping in against a true pro that's proven in several locations versus what you had last year with Kirk Campbell.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny. You think to like what Michigan's had from Jim Harbaugh forward. The probably the most experienced offensive coordinator that Jim Harbaugh had was Pep Hamilton, who wasn't exactly setting the world on fire whenever he was the OC at any place, right? Because it's just more of a pretty conservative West Coast offense that he's run, usually under Jim Harbaugh. But no one was looking at Pep Hamilton and being like, man, this guy just slings it around. The offense is crazy explosive. It was consistent, but it wasn't explosive. Otherwise, like, and I'm going all the way back to 2015, it's like Jed Fish had at least had a couple years in the NFL. Weirdly, like not like a lot of stops being an OC, but was the OC of the Jaguars for a couple years. But Tim Drevno hadn't been an offensive coordinator before that. He was an offensive line coach, and those two kind of worked together. And then eventually, Fish is gone. They bring in Pep, and Pep ends up sharing that duty with Drevno for a year. And then when they decide to move on from Pep, they bring in Josh Gaddis rather. He has never been a coordinator. They get rid of when Josh Gaddis decides the grass is greener elsewhere erroneously, since now he's not doing so hot as far as his career trajectory. And then they up Sharon Moore, who'd never been a coordinator. Then when Sharon finally becomes the head coach, he brings in Kirk Campbell, who had two not good years at Old Dominion. So I lay out that history to show you that like Michigan in all of this time from the Harbaugh era forward, and you kind of look at Sharon Moore as kind of being an extension of that Jim Harbaugh era, has never had anyone that has had anywhere close to the experience that Chip Lindsey does, where he's been like a high level coordinator for a very long time. Now, is he like one of the highest level coordinators? That I don't know, but like he's been successful everywhere he's gone. Not necessarily to the point where everyone's like, man, this guy, we got to get this guy. But he was good enough at Auburn and to be able to parlay that into the Troy job, the head coaching job. And when that didn't work out, he's at UCF, did really well there. I might have my timeline backwards there, but still, he did well at UCF. He did well at Auburn. He did well at Southern Miss. He did well at North Carolina. Having that experience and not having all of these, like every year where it kind of feels like Michigan's got a new offensive coordinator and we're in a press conference asking them, what's it going to be like to call plays for the first time? We're not doing that now. And I think that that's huge because even though Kirk Campbell had that experience, there are times where I'm standing there on the sideline with a camera in hand, looking at like a very narrowed field of what the play call is in terms of like what the formation is. And I'm sitting there being like, what are we doing here? Why are you calling that? I can tell you before the ball's even snapped that what you're doing is wrong. And it always was. There was never a point where I was like, well, I stand corrected. Great play call. Every single time I was like, it's the Arrested Development, Michael Bluth, dead dove do not eat. I do not know what else I expected. So having someone that just has done it for a couple decades, shown that he knows how to do it, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. And on top of it, like it sounds like the players are really, really, really love him. And that's a big thing. That kind of, there's a lot of 2021 vibes with this team. And the togetherness and the just everyone on the same page, coaches, players, and all of that. It just really seems like that's kind of something that people don't really talk about that much. And it can be crucial to just to be able to be like, there's really not any factions. Everyone, the coaches are on the same page with the other coaches. The players are on the same page with the other players, and the coaches and the players are on the same page. That I don't think was necessarily the full case throughout last year. And I think maybe you kind of eventually got there for those last 3 games. But it was a process, and it kind of feels like, okay, they've already kind of got that going. And I think by having an offensive coordinator that has that experience, like Chip Lindsey, I think that's one of the things that it's just been missing from the Michigan offense for a long time.
Isaiah Hull here breaking down the Michigan Wolverines. Of course, we're just a few weeks away from the opener at the Big House, Wolverines Wire, and Locked On Wolverines, the places to catch Isaiah's work. And the Amazon link's in the description section of all the videos, including this one. Folks, please support the channel, and you can do so without spending a penny by using the Amazon link.